G'day everyone, Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist. We're going on to the Bethel part of the JW broadcasting from May 2019. We'll see what's going to happen here.
Whole-souled service for nearly 20,000 brothers and sisters is a full-time assignment at Bethel. What motivates them to reach out for this special privilege? What blessings do they experience? And what's the best way to prepare and qualify for Bethel service? I'd like to invite my friend Patrick LaFranca to discuss these and other questions. Welcome, Pat.
Right, there's Patrick. We're going to stop there and we're going to have a look at some background information from people that have been to Bethel, that have ended up on the not so positive side of it. Okay, so I've gone to one of the biggest thinkers I think you could find on Bethel at the moment in the next XJW community, a man who has had time at Bethel, a genuine, very genuine person. I've punched in to Marcus Bourne's channel. Marcus Bourne, ex-Bethelite. And I'm going to, what I've done, I've gone to his channel and I've typed in Bethel, Marcus being an ex-Bethelite, and I want to go down to a video where he's saying that kids calling home to leave Bethel are forced to stay. This is Marcus Vaughan. I would ask you to please subscribe to his wonderful channel. One of the great thinkers in the XJW community. He's got a very, very broad information base, experiential information based on Bethel, but we're going to just choose this one for now. Here we go, Marcus Moore.
Hello everyone, ex-Bethelite here, 937-789-4029. This is a video request in the comment section. Someone was inquiring about the young people that did not want to stay at Bethel, and called so that they could, called home so they can go home, essentially telling their parents that that's not what they wanted to do. Well, that's something that happens somewhat frequently, especially early on at Bethel. You have to understand that a free labor camp is not something that is for every 19, 20, 21-year-old kid. This is not something that, it's not Fun World. It's not some place that you're going to send your kids and all of them are just going to love it. And it's also not a situation where this person is in a spiritual paradise. Of course, some people are going to want to go home. Now, there's different circumstances where there were people that maybe were having tough things happening, but maybe not necessarily calling and telling their parents about it. There were people that were having a hard enough time that they literally called their parents, told their parents what was happening, and told their parents that they wanted to go home, that they were done. There's also kids that called their parents letting them know that they wanted to go home and did not tell them what was going on at Bethel and the reason why they wanted to go home. They just told them that they wanted to come home. In most cases, those parents are not going to want that child to come home. They're not going to come get them. They're going to tell them to stick it out. They're going to tell their kid that Jehovah wants them there at Bethel. They're going to tell their kids Bethel is the best place to be. And you have to understand that parents get clout. They get recognition for their child going to Bethel. It's like a medal of honor. If a brother is a ministerial servant and he's reaching out to be an elder, him sending kids to Bethel, if you could imagine it as a resume, looks really good on that resume. Your son or daughter is a Bethelite. Oh yeah, it's going to look really good on that resume, and no, they're not going to want them to come back home. For sister, even sisters, normally you're talking about someone that can ascend up to the level of pioneer, and on a congregational level, that's about it. But if your husband is an elder and your son or daughter is at Bethel, that makes you look good. Even though you're not reaching out for any specific quote unquote privileges. Or even if you are, if you want to be a circuit overseer's wife or anything like that. Essentially offering your children up to Bethel will get you recognition from the organization. It will get you moved up the ladder by offering your kids up to this free labor camp and them staying there. You don't get that clout for your kid being up there for 2 weeks. That's looked at as shameful. And you know that Jehovah's Witnesses, internally, this is the coldest religion I know about. I don't know a whole lot about Scientology, but Jehovah's Witnesses are the coldest religion I know about. You're talking about core doctrine. Core doctrine. A big war between God and everybody that's not a Jehovah's Witness. That is core doctrine, that especially for us that were born in. This is what we learn in kindergarten, and when other people are watching Sesame Street and watching Big Bird and learning about numbers and things like that, we're looking at the Revelation book with 7-headed dragons and a lake of fire and pictures of people running and screaming because Jehovah is going to kill each and every one of them that is not a Jehovah's Witness. This is core doctrine stuff. These are cold-hearted people. I'm talking anybody that doesn't want to be a Jehovah's Witness. Could you imagine a Catholic, Baptist, whatever the case may be, somebody in some family is not going to want to be that specific religion. Maybe they have an interest in another religion. Maybe they're not interested in religion at all. Every Jehovah's Witness, raised Jehovah's Witness, that doesn't want to be one. Or if you're if you don't want to be a Jehovah's Witness, you're essentially shunned, period. I don't care if you did something wrong or not. And it's so easy for these people. It is so easy. That announcement is made. Sometimes the family knows about the announcement before the announcement's made. But a lot of times the friends don't know. People at the hall in general that may speak to this person every time that they go to the Kingdom Hall, they don't know that that is about to be announced, that this person is disfellowship. But once that announcement is made, it is automatic. It is instant. You have never seen an elder pulling somebody from the arms of somebody that was just officially shunned. They just automatically do it. So as soon as they say amen, that meeting's over, they just turn their back. It's no effort. You're talking about just the facts, cold people. Those are simply the facts of the matter. I don't know too many Jehovah's Witness families that aren't splintered to some degree because somebody didn't do as well in that organization or somebody doesn't want to be a part of it, and they're gonna shun them. And when they do it, there are people who have been shunned for 20 plus years by their family. They ain't done anything to these people, but they've been shunned 20 plus years. My older sister, I don't know when she's talked to her father, and anytime I've gone over there, he's just not stressed out. He's not shedding no tears or anything like that. You're talking about cold people. Send your kid to Bethel. A kid. This kid isn't sure what they want to do yet. They're 19 years old, 20 years old. They don't know what they want to do yet, but they've been told their entire life that Bethel is the house of God, that Bethel is the center of the organization. It's where you really see Jehovah's Holy Spirit, and that it's the best place for them to be. So yes, you're going to have some people that aren't quite sure what they want to do yet with their life. So why not go and serve at Bethel? I can't miss there, right? Can't go wrong there, right? So when they go and they see, no, this is not what I want to do, you have a problem, because you're dealing with, put down in the comment section if I'm wrong, you are dealing with some of the coldest hearted people on earth, factually, not opinion, factually. You have to be cold-hearted in order to walk around believing that everybody you see that's not a Jehovah's Witness is going to die, and they're going to die probably tomorrow or the next day, or maybe they have about a year, but not too much longer before Armageddon comes. And everybody that I see that's not a Jehovah's Witness and a Jehovah's Witness in good stand is dead walking. And if anybody in my family doesn't want to be a Jehovah's Witness, I don't care if it's my own kid, mom, dad, the minute that announcement is made, drop them. They don't make the announcement, and then it takes about a month to a few years to, kind of get accustomed to it, where there's a lot of crying, where there's a lot of hugging. No, the second that announcement is made, you are essentially disowned. Like that. I have grown up in it, and I have not ever seen anybody cry when there was an announcement that this person was disfellowship. I've seen people kind of shocked, like, wow, what did they do? But never tears, even though these people, when that announcement is made, they're not going to talk to them anymore. So that is what you're dealing with when a child calls, picks up the phone, crying sometimes, because they've got so much pressure on them to go to Bethel and to do well. Go to Bethel, do well. Your entire family is looked up to. That's the type of pressure that are on 19, 20, 21-year-old kids. It's not go to Bethel, if you don't like it, come on back, it doesn't matter. Not unless you got parents that aren't a part of that organization, then they may not care. But if your parents are in that or part of that organization, there's shame involved. Shame is a big thing in watchtowers. There's shame involved in them coming back. So there are kids that call home, want to go home, and as much as they were calling home wanting to go home, I saw them the next day. You know what I mean? I saw them a week later. I saw them a month later. You have at Bethel situations that a young person can't really prepare themselves for or handle. To a certain degree, it's essentially like you have hazing at Bethel, and it all depends on who you are, who you know, who you get along with, who you don't get along with. if you've seen the movie Children of the Corn, essentially that's kind of the mental picture I'm trying to paint in your mind right now with respects to. This is a radar movie. If you don't like horror movies, don't go watch it. But Children of the Corn, essentially, you have a religious hierarchy of children, a pecking order with these children. Children are running things. That is essentially what you have in certain areas at Bethel, because there are certain areas where all the new people go. All the young people are in this specific area. And it's not like you have a grown-up posted there somewhere. In this specific building, in this specific area, these are where all the new people are pretty much herded, and they're all kids. So I've seen people. Obviously, there's fights and there's arguments and people don't get along, and of course this stuff happens. Now I say of course because I've seen it, but other people that have not been there, other than on a tour, may assume that everybody just gets along. All these kids come from all around the country, and they all are sent to the same place, and they all don't have money, and they all don't have anything to do outside of, maybe playing a sport, and they're all just going to get along. No, that's not the way it works. There are people that come that stand off as kind of odd, maybe kind of nerdy or whatever the case may be. They're new at Bethel, and they are easy target. And the people who are doing the hazing are other kids, other 19, 20, 21-year-olds. That's who's running all that. That's who's running things in these areas. Do you think they know when to stop? A 19, 20, 21-year-old, oh, that's enough. He's had enough. Welcome to Bethel. We'll leave you alone now. No, they don't know when to stop. There's been people, let's give an example. People don't get along. Two people don't get along. Both doing things to each other. Hiding things, little juvenile, silly things that they're doing to each other because these two roommates do not get along. One ends up pushing the other out without anything on except for their underwear. And I recall he had some long dress socks on. And people thought that was funny. That this person was pushed out of their room with nothing on but underwear and, long meeting socks. Locked out of the room. Can't get back in to the room. Now, there's nothing funny about that. That's humiliating. That's somebody who doesn't have a lot of friends yet at Bethel. They just got there. And your entire social network is there. When you send somebody to Bethel, you got to understand the people at Bethel, that is their entire social network. Who else are they hanging out with other than people at Bethel? You could try really getting in with your congregation. We're going to talk about that a little bit later, but that's everybody. So you're getting picked on, you're getting pushed out of your room with just underwear, socks. People see it, they're laughing. I hadn't seen anybody just step in like, okay, that's too far. That's enough. That's enough. And you're not going to go and tell, because again, that's it. That's your whole social network. Whatever hazing, whatever teasing, whatever's going on, you're going to try to take it, and hopefully it just ends at some point where you can then just become friends with people. But when you have things like that, going on, and I've experienced things like that in high school to a certain degree, not on a continuous basis like it was going on there. So I understood what was going on, and I guarantee you I wasn't laughing when I saw that. And your congregation, that is huge. If you're blackballed in your congregation, if you're the black sheep in the congregation, I never like using terms like that, but if your congregation sees you as not spiritual, you're not giving comment, or your comments not on point, or they don't like your talk, or you come in and you got something on your, or if you have one of those congregations where if they find something wrong, you are then listed as just one of those good for nothing Bethelites, one of those people that is a waste of money, a waste of resources. You essentially, as a Bethelite, will not necessarily be shunned by that congregation, but not welcomed either. These are 19, 20, 21-year-old kids. They make mistakes. The problem is once you make a mistake, you get to the meeting and you have the wrong book, and you're a Bethelite, and you're sitting over there at this meeting. I've seen this. You sitting over there at the meeting, and they call for you to pull out such and such a book, and you don't pull it out. Why? Because you don't have it. You forgot to bring it, whatever the case may be. And you're new. They don't know you yet. Yeah, you're one of those Bethelites. You're not going to get invited over. You're not going to get anything. These are kids. These are kids that this stuff is happening to. So you have people dealing with that with regards to their congregation. Then they go back to Bethel, and depending on who they are, who they know, what's going on, if they're getting along with people or if they're not, they got hazing essentially going on at Bethel. Have fun going and telling on people. I've done that with, things with regards to racism, and you guys already know what happened with that. Have fun going and telling on people. Your only recourse is essentially to just throw in the towel. Just throw in the towel. You call home and be like, hey, I want to come back. And with all those things going on, I've seen people leave their congregation and apply to go to Spanish and things like that. Not because they were interested in foreign language, but because they messed up. They made some kind of mistake. Now the congregation has just got them singled out as that bad Bethelite, and they just got to get out. Other Bethelites will even tell you, if that happens, your best bet is to leave that congregation. Go in a foreign language somewhere where they'll appreciate you, because once those people turn on you, these are cold-hearted people. It's easy for them to turn on people. Easy for them to turn on people. Jehovah's Witnesses may not know that, because what do they have to compare it to? This is what they've grown up in. This is what they're accustomed to. This is every day for them to just turn on somebody that's their own relative. So you think they won't turn on somebody that's a Bethelite that they think don't live up to those standards? It's easy for them. So you ask the JW, oh, the loving brotherhood. Why? Because they're told that. They're not allowed to step foot in another church. They don't know, what do they have to compare anything to? If you've been born and raised in that, you think that's normal. Pick up the phone. Now, I never sat and just listened to the whole conversation, but I knew of people that were being targeted at Bethel. I knew of people who were basically being told to go to Spanish or go in a foreign language because the congregation had it out for them. And I've heard phone conversations. Heck, I've had people tell me that they were essentially jammed up because they didn't know how to get out. What do you do? What do you do? Are you going to call the authorities? What do you do when you have a kid in essentially a free labor camp that doesn't want to be there? Who is he going to tell? His parents don't care. Who is he going to tell? You go ahead and tell your table head. Something like that. Go ahead and tell your overseer. Have them send you packing back home. Think about the humiliation. You were okay, you were that person in your congregation that gave all the good talks, that had all the pats on the back. You were that person in your congregation that were all so spiritual. Now you're about to get sent back from Bethel. I mean, the humiliation. So, yeah, there's people that get in trouble and get sent back. But I couldn't imagine the humiliation of something like that. Because they told their overseer that they didn't want to be there or something like that. Matter of fact, I remember a sister saying that her son, her exact words were, I don't know what he was thinking. He was at Bethel and decided he didn't want to be there anymore. I could have killed him. Exact words. Now, of course, she didn't go kill him, but exact words. That's how she viewed it because she wasn't there. She don't know what goes on. It's common sense. Of course they want to go home with all that hazing going on, with congregations turning on freaking kids because something happened that they didn't like. Let me know what you think down below. And I honestly think that the authorities, somebody should step in. Nobody should have to go. Raise the age level at Bethel because that's too young. Raise the age level to somebody that is an adult that can make a decision, because you got kids in a free labor camp and it's not okay just because you call it Bethel and because you show video and you take people on a tour of a nice area doesn't make it okay to have kids working someplace they don't want to work for free, forcibly. Let me know what you think. 937-789-4029. X-Wallkill Bethelite signing out.
So we'll just go back to Marcus's channel. How amazing was that talk? Marcus Vaughan, ex-Bethelite. Do please subscribe to his channel. Now, what I have done here is, because I'm not an expert on Bethel, I've referred the topic out, and I referred it out to Marcus Vaughan. Now, I'm not a professional on certain mental health things. I am when it comes to theology. But when I was a minister, one of the wonderful things that I had at my disposal was a whole community of therapists and psychologists and psychiatrists and other people that I could, doctors and nurses and all other things that I could refer the information out to. And this is what I've done in this presentation relative to the JW broadcast on Bethel. Now, I think what I'll do, to be fair to the broadcast, if I haven't got my glasses on, is we'll watch a little bit of it now and see where it goes, and then we'll do a part 2 and maybe possibly a part 3 on this. So here we go.
Thank you, Ron. How heartwarming it's been to see millions take their stand for true worship. Thousands more.
Now, I just want to say this statement, true worship, is theological abuse, because it's not the true worship of the Jewish God of the Bible. It's a brand of worship, but it's not the true worship. Barbara Anderson, who I'm going to try and find if she talks on Bethel, a wonderful, wonderful, very intelligent lady, and broad, so broadly, has such a broad information base on the Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm going to see if she does a talk on Bethel. I think she could help a lot with this subject as well. But let's just get back to the fact. And what Barbara Anderson says is, it's, what did she say? I've got it in my phone. Hang on. Yeah, she's talking about the statement, the truth will set you free. Barbara Anderson says, the facts will set you free. And that's a profound statement. It's the facts that set you free, because anybody can make up a representation of the truth, and that doesn't make it right.
Joining us every week. Jehovah is speeding up the ingathering work, and this makes us very happy. But who will work to provide the Bibles, Bible literature, and the audio and video publications that sustain us spiritually and help us to accomplish our kingdom preaching and teaching work? Bethel is a unique place. It's where mature Christians render sacred service to Jehovah in close association with Christ's brothers.
So they're saying this is where true Christians go. I'm going to stop this video here, viewers. We'll come back to that in the next presentation, and we'll go behind the scenes and see why people at Bethel were put off, were fired. And this is Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist, New South Wales, Australia. Bye for now.